our YouTube and Facebook. Right, so let me share screen. Two. Eventually share, there we go. All right, we will, so welcome to the June 16th meeting of the Solano, of the Stonewall Democratic Club of Solano County. And we will get started with the land acknowledgement. I will read that for us. So land acknowledgement. We should take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we are gathered. For thousands of years, this land has been the home of the Patwan people. Today, there are 3 federally recognized Patwan tribes: the Casio de Dehi Band of Wintun Indians of the Calusa Indian community, the Quetzal Dehi Band of Wintun Indians, and the Yocha Dehi Wintun Nation. The Patwan people have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. It has been cherished and protected as elders have instructed the young through generations. We are honored and grateful to be here today on their traditional lands. All right. And then if we would start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, and this is optional. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Someday.
Okay. All right. We'll just go back here. For me, while I get the agenda up. Right. That's ugly.
You can have that sidebar minimized.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like it's a little bit crazy. Let's see. Let me get rid of that.
The little arrow there, the little black arrow halfway down the screen.
Thank you. Totally missed that. All right, so we do have a quorum. So welcome everyone. I want to welcome and honor, call attention to our elected officials that are in the House. So we have with us Supervisor Monica Brown. We have John Fox with the Vallejo School Board.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
And then, yeah. And hold on, let me get rid of that. Then we also have City Council Member Jeanette Wiley from Vacaville, City Council Member Nolan Sullivan from Vacaville, and Planning Commission Member Carrie Birdseye from Benicia. And did I miss anyone else? Commission member? Yes, Terry. Terry Scott and Melissa Bowman, you're a commission member, right?
Yes, I'm planning commissioner for City of Vallejo.
Okay, and then Tara, I think you're also a commissioner, right?
Counselor of Arts and Culture and Public Art.
Oh, great. Okay, and Tara, you're a commissioner too?
I am Community Housing and Development Commission, Design Review Board, and Participatory Budgeting Commission.
All right, and then Peter, I think you're also a commissioner, correct?
That's correct. I'm on the Architectural Heritage and Landmark Commission.
All right. Did I miss anyone else? I feel very underachieving here.
I know, me too.
All right, so thanks. So we are going to go through guest speakers for local office. This is our round 2. We heard from other folks last meeting, and that is recorded and it is going to be on our YouTube channel. So look for that. But just want to welcome you all. So we'll start with the north of the county. Jeanette, you've already introduced yourself, Jeanette Wiley. So we'll start with Nolan Sullivan.
All right, thank you. How long do you want me to go, Thomas?
couple minutes.
Cool. Okay. And just
We're
a brief
fairly,
introduction,
yeah.
explaining kind of what we've been doing and kind of how it's been going. Is that kind of what we're doing?
that is right, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So again, my name is Nolan Sullivan. I'm from the city of Vacaville. I've been on the council now for almost 4 years in my first term. Prior to that, I served basically a full term on the Vacaville Unified School District Board. I filled in for Jerry Eaton when he left our seat. And prior to that, I chaired the Measure A school bond, which is a $194 million school bond. That's sort of how I got my foray into politics and really got involved. Spent some time on the Community Services Commission in the city of Vacaville. I left the school board really wanting to take some time off and be a dad. I've got 2 young children. I've got an 8-year-old and a 14-year-old. And the game plan essentially was to take a step back and be dad for a couple years. There were a couple really slimy city council votes at the time, sort of a political junkie of sorts, that didn't really sit well with me. And sort of the final straw was when we showed up to the discussion about the Pride Proclamation in the city of Vacaville. And my wife and I went. And honestly, I was so disgusted with the city council, so disgusted with some of the community members and really how they handled the situation that essentially I asked my wife for permission to run early. And so, she's home with the kids. I think this week this is my 4th evening meeting this week, which is great. I don't mind doing it, but obviously she's got to pull the load at the house. And so, it really was up to her if she was kind of okay with that. And luckily she was pissed off enough that she was. So I decided to run in 2018. Curtis Hunt left a vacant seat. And that's kind of the start of kind of how I got here. Vacaville historically has been predominantly, I shouldn't say dominantly run by very conservative representatives. And my first 2 years in office were rough. It was myself and 4 fairly conservative folks, and I was often the one vote on 4. Vacaville, as we were kind of talking about before the meeting, really is sort of stuck, I think, in the 1950s, per se. I think it feels a lot like Mayberry, kind of small town Americana. I think what happened in Vacaville really was in the late 80s, early 90s, Vacaville exploded, right? And we went from basically Dixon to sort of Bay Area city. We've now got about 110,000 residents. And I think the politics and the identity and the diversity of Vacaville changed dramatically. I think if you look at the demographic data, the voter data, it really, really changed. Yet we were still predominantly run by very red, very conservative, very old school thinking individuals on both our school boards, as well as our city council, as well as our board of supervisors. Monica, I'm not referring just to Vacaville guys. And that has to change. Vacaville is very, very purple, if not a blue shade of purple. And I believe in a representative democracy that represents all of the people and all of the views and represents the way that people look and the way that people love and the way that people pray. And I think that there's room for everybody on the council. I'm very happy to say that we went to districts. We now have 7 council members. We have the most diverse council in Vacaville history. It looks very different today than it looks 2 or 3 years ago. We have balance. We actually have a purple council for once, with a slight nod or a slight lean towards, I guess, Democrats or the liberal side of the house, which is how I feel it should be in Vacaville. And I think over the 2 years, we've made a tremendous amount of progress on being a more open, inclusive, and loving community. And I think a lot of that is due in part to the city council that we have today. A lot of that is really due in part to people waking up. I think we had a lot of people asleep, people with big hearts, with liberal leanings, very supportive of the causes that I support and causes this group supports, but frankly, we're just asleep and just kind of stumbled through their day. And I think the last couple of years have really been a catalyst. I ran on 4 main points: housing, which was the big one for me as a parent and a homeowner. Housing has become completely unaffordable. I want to make sure my kids, my parents, my family, the people I love have a place to live. I'm very proud to report that in the last year and a half, we have built and entitled more low income and senior housing in the last year and a half than we have in the last 10 years. And that's not carryover projects. That's not projects from the last council. That's projects from this council that cares about housing in Vacaville and cares about our loved ones, our family, our friends, and most importantly, our seniors and folks that need affordable housing. My second kind of key point really was fiscal accountability and transparency. Prior to me getting on the council, the city was running a structural deficit of almost $5 million. So spending $5 million more than we were taking in every year and slowly eating away at our reserves. And we could talk a much longer conversation on where those funds were going. I'm proud to report that as of the last report, about 3 months ago, we have $1 million surplus in the general fund. So we've actually fixed our structural deficit. But we're also investing in really beautiful, amazing things like parks and social causes and things outside of just public safety. So I'm really proud of the fact that we fixed our financial issues and gotten on the right track, closed a $6 million deficit hole. And we're actually investing in things that I really care about and think Vacaville residents care about. Another one is good paying jobs. Vacaville has 4 Walmarts. We have 8 McDonald's. And we have the outlets, which are predominantly low wage, minimum wage, no benefit jobs. And so everyone loves all of these different facets in Vacaville for whatever reason. I want good paying local jobs for our residents here at home. I don't want them to have to hop on the freeway and drive the 27-mile average one-way commute that our Vacaville residents have to do. I want them to have good jobs here. Proud to announce that in the last year, we've landed the 5th largest biotech manufacturing company in the entire United States. We're all in on the bio strategy. We're all in on Solano Community College. Genentech has reactivated Site 2. And we're building those modern living wage jobs here at home. We also have a really robust economic development strategy for our downtown. Our downtown finally will be a place that hopefully folks want to visit and feel welcome and feel safe and feel like there's something to do other than real estate offices and getting your hair done. And we're really working towards a Vacaville that has good jobs and amenities. And then the last really is just inclusion and making Vacaville feel like a safe and open place for everybody. Vacaville is known as a sundown town by a variety of populations, and that's not a moniker I want to continue. That's hard to fight, but I think it just takes effort. I think I put in the work and I show up. I was on the lead steering committee and the planning committee for Vacaville's first Pride, for Vacaville's first Martin Luther King event, for Vacaville's first Black History Month, for Vacaville's first 31 Inspiring Women. And I'm proud to say that we've actually just hosted our second event in all of those. And I don't just show up for pictures. I don't just show up to shake hands. I show up 6 months before and help with the planning process. I invest my own money and I put my blood, sweat, and energy into making Vacaville a place where people feel safe, welcome, respected, and loved, no matter what background they come from. And so I think just to sum things up, I put in the work, I put in the time, I'm invested, and I want to make Vacaville a place for everybody like it should be. I think we've made a lot of progress in 2 years, but that progress can wash out very quickly. I know this year, both Jeanette and I will probably have very fierce competition that are very well funded from local nefarious sources, and we'll need all the help that we can get. So super happy to be here tonight. Really grateful for the time, and I'll stop talking and let other folks dive in, but thank you so much for letting me present. And thank you for all the work that the club does in Solano.
All right, well, thanks so much, Nolan. Good elevator pitch. That was going to the Sears Tower. Okay, so, all right, so we'll, let's see, let me get this. So I don't see Nadia on here. So we'll come on down we'll start with Benicia. And Terry, you were in the room first, so we'll go with Terry Scott.
Okay, well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, so I'm a longtime Benicia resident. I am a seasoned businessman. I am a futurist by trade. I just finished a number of papers for the National Endowment of the Arts on understanding the future of museums 10, 15, 20 years out. I also work for the U.S. Economic Development Administration on the silver tsunami and the millennial transition, and at what nexus point will they meet and what is the impact on society. I work for a number of international clients, understanding where they will be 15, 20, and I have one client who is saying where are they going to be in 100 years. I helped found several humanitarian organizations here in Benicia, and I founded the Benicia Community Foundation with a number of local residents. I'm running for Benicia City Council because I believe we need a city council that thinks about city's future. I think that we have had a council that has been dealing with crisis after crisis. It's been a kick the can mentality. It's been living in the day rather than in tomorrow. It's the typical, why do they have the smallest mirror in the car? Is the rear view mirror. They're not looking out the windshield. So I'm continually looking as a futurist, what can we do to drive the council forward? So I look at it and say the most important thing is taking on the hard questions and answering those hard questions now. I believe that we need to create a future that is about tomorrow, that is efficient, that is effective, it is inclusive, and it is diverse. I've been involved in the city's Arts and Culture Commission as as chairman of Arts and Culture for 4 terms, and I have been also head of the Public Art Committee, bringing in a number of major art pieces, as well as understanding the impact that arts and culture has, not only on the psyche of the residents, but also creating an ecosphere for people to come into the community and the economic impact of that. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from from Kent State University, and I have attended and completed the Executive Studies program at Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. I think my greatest accomplishment is being married for 47 years to a forensic archaeologist, and I have 3 sons and 1 adorable little granddaughter. I've owned restaurants, and I know how difficult it is to wait in each one of the days for payday to make sure that we have enough money to be able to pay our employees. I also spent a stint for 20 years as global head of creative services for Hasbro Toy and Games, Milton Bradley, a number of movies that you have seen. I've been on the production staff, Transformers and G.I. Joe. My success in all of that comes from really creating a vision. And I wanted to read to you what is my vision for Benicia. And I think my vision, I know my vision for Benicia is to be an economically vibrant community, while at the same time preserving its friendly small town atmosphere. And I think that, as we just heard with Vacaville, I lived in Vacaville for a number of years, and I think that they have finally found their mojo as trying to get back to trying to understand that small town environment and how they can talk to that. But here in Benicia, I think Benicia is truly a special place, rich with history, and I'm passionate about maintaining a community that embraces all people, with all perspectives, supporting local art, of course, promoting safe homes for its residents with clean air and water. And I think that one of the things is you gauge the success of a person and their impact to a community on what I have actually done. So, just in the last couple of months, I was thinking about what is it that I brought to the table and helped bring to the table. Been a key collaborator on our dog festival. It doesn't sound like much, but we had a number of people come into the community, and now it's become an annual event. I was a primary organizer of the Diversity Festival. No one in town wanted to be part of the Diversity Festival. We couldn't get city support. We couldn't get volunteer police. We couldn't get anything. We created a diversity festival. We had over 10 different groups come in and do music and play and all sorts of events. And now the city wants to take it over and make it a yearly event. So that was great that we were able to have the fortitude to see the opportunity to bring in a diversity festival. And now the city wants to take it over. For those of you who came into Benicia last weekend, you saw that I was an organizer and a lead speaker in this weekend's March for Our Lives for gun regulation and effective gun regulation. And finally, from arts and culture, I always come back to arts and culture where I'm very comfortable in. This year, we were able to bring 7 new pieces of art, including something that I am incredibly proud of, because I believe in that you can't have inclusion if you don't bring something to people and have them want to join in. We were able to establish and dedicate the first decorated piano in our downtown, and we have found how this just in the last couple of days, people have been shooting me photographs after photograph of people playing the piano, from little kids to people with special needs to people that really have the ability. So it has added to the creative environment and the environment that makes Benicia so special. So that is kind of me. That's a kind of a very short introduction of who I am and what I can do. And I have been able to provide the opportunity to do things and get them done. So if you want to hear any more information about me or see anything about me, please go to, and here's the commercial plug, Terry Scott for Benicia 2022.org. So I would,
Okay.
Terry.
All right. Thank you so much, Sherry. If you would put that link in our chat.
We'll do that.
And to all the candidates, if you have your campaign site up, please plug that. So we'll go ahead and move on down, not down, I guess would be actually move on into Benicia further. Carrie Birdseye, where are you?
I'm right here. Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Yeah.
I've been a member of this club for probably 6 or 7 years now, but I regret not showing up to your meetings more often. Thank you for making space for us this evening, me and my dog Olive. So currently I'm the chair of the Planning Commission, and I've been that for about 6 or 7 years. Before that, I was just a commissioner, but as a Cub commissioner, I was some of my first hearings were the crude by rail proposed project that the Planning Commission successfully, after 13 meetings, we unanimously denied it. It was appealed to the city council. This proposed project wanted to bring 100 tanks of crude oil through our community daily. And Valero said that they needed it to survive. Well, they're still surviving, even though the city council also denied it. So that was how I cut my teeth on the Planning Commission. And since then, we've been doing some really important work. Right now, we're in the middle of updating our housing element and making sure that we hit our regional housing needs allocation number. Our RENA number is 750 housing units. And if you've ever been to Benicia, it feels pretty built out. So we're doing some really creative things, ensuring that affordable, very low income and medium income and high income housing units come to Benicia. We make space for those in a built out environment. So why am I running for city council? Well, I ran in 2018 and was defeated by 700 votes in a race where there was 21,000 votes in a three-way race for 2 seats. Our largest industrial partner, the Valero refinery, and their aligned building trades put up $250,000 in a PAC against me. And that in the PAC name was actually against Carrie Birdseye. So someone found me pretty scary. They didn't want me on the city council then, and I'm expecting that they don't want me on the city council again. Why is that? Well, it's because I'm a former journalist. I worked at CNN for 11 years. Right now, I do strategic communications for NRDC, Natural Resources Defense Council. I know that our future needs to be carbon free as soon as possible. And how do we do that? The state of California wants to go all electric vehicles by 2030. That means that we're not going to need all the refineries that we have right now. And Valero has said that they want to be the last Bay Area refinery standing, and I am all for that. But I also want them to be the best neighbor that they can be. And they've lied to us for the last 13 years about what they're putting in our air. So my platform is access to clean air and clean water, clean, affordable water. You know, we're not getting access to clean water right now all the time. Secondly, I want to diversify our economic tax base. As the refineries start ramping down their production and their profits and as we move away from fossil fuels into electrified future, we need to ensure that Benicia and our surrounding neighbors aren't economically devastated by that ramp down. And so that means bringing in new businesses, diverse businesses that aren't reliant on supporting the refinery. That means renewable energy companies. That means, smart agricultural, sustainable agricultural companies. We are so well positioned and located in that Benicia Vallejo area that we deserve to be picking and choosing the businesses that choose to make our cities home. So, and then lastly, I believe in compassionate and thoughtful leadership and community service. And, that's what you're going to get in me. I'm unbossed and I'm unbought, and I'm going to listen to the people that I represent and ensure that today and into the future that we all can make a good living, we're safe, and we have access to clean air, clean water, and good jobs. So that's who I am. And Terry and I share a lot of the same values and convictions. And it's going to be a tough race. Lionel Lagaspada, who is not a Democrat, will be running against us. And we have until mid-August to file in Benicia. So we don't know who else is going to run. But I would value the endorsement of this club. I got it in 2018, and I hope I get it again. Thank you for listening to me. I'll put my campaign website in the chat, and then I'm always available to talk and answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Carrie. All right, so moving now to the city of Vallejo. Let's see. Okay, actually, I see we're joined by Jack Flynn. Before we hit Vallejo, we will reach over to Jack Flynn, who is running for school board, Fairfield Sassoon USD. So, are you there,
Tom.
Jack?
Thank you, Tom. I'm here. And first of all, I want to thank the Stonewall Club for your time and attention. The work the Stonewall Club is so important. We need diverse voices in the Democratic Party and in our education system. And I really do appreciate the work the Stonewall Club does. I am so excited to be running for the Fairfield Sassoon School Board. I am a lifelong FSUSD student, now an alumni of FSUSD schools. So I feel like I've seen kind of the good, the bad, the ugly of FSUSD. And I know what we're doing right and what we need to change. I have been endorsed by the Fairfield Sassoon Unified Teachers Association, receiving I'm the only candidate race that they endorsed. And I've also received the endorsement of many local leaders, including the mayor of Benicia, Steve Young, former state assembly member Mariko Yamada, FSUSD board member Anna Patero, and several others. I'm really running because we need diverse voices in the Fairfield Sassoon School District. We need a district that doesn't just recognize LGBTQ plus students, but values them and edifies them so that they can do the best in not just academically, but in their lives. LGBTQIA plus student, staff, parents, and community members are a true asset to the Fairfield Sassoon School District. And as your board member, what I will do is I will take creative decisions on the board to support them. That includes flying the pride flag at our district office, making sure that when those stakeholders walk up to the district office, they can see that they're represented there. I spoke about this at the last FSUSD board meeting in our district. I feel like I'm the only Democrat running. I'm running to flip the seat blue. My opponent is not Democrat and has a more conservative voting record on the board. I am proud to be running, and I would love and appreciate the support of the Stonewall Club. I'm going to leave my act blue in the chat, and thank
All right, thanks so much, Jack. So good to hear from you. This is what we need, folks. We need young voices stepping out and taking chances. And here you have it. I think you're probably, but when elected, you'll be the youngest school board member in the nation, maybe just California, but there you go. You know, I think this is a great example of where we have people who go through a system, who know the system, who can then come back and make the system better. And I think that's what we get. That's great. All right, so moving on now to Vallejo. So we're going to start with District 2. We have Cassandra James in the house and also club member. Let me find you. There you are. Hello, Cassandra.
Hello, everyone. I thought I was going to get some intro music too, the way that you were going, Tom.
You know, I should have done something like, you know, big bad woman coming at you, you know, but unfortunately, Alexa is not working with me today.
Darn, but it's perfectly fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Cassandra James, and I am running for Vallejo City Council in District 2. I have been a Vallejo resident for the last 12 years and have given birth to the next generation. Living in a bilingual household, raising 2 kids, 8 and 2 years old, with my partner and the primary caretaker for my grandmother. At first, I was not interested in running for a city council, as I was okay in creating platforms for other campaigns. But my mind changed after watching the racial reckoning that was happening in our country. And my eldest son asked, what are we going to do to change what's happening in our community? This is an exciting time for North Vallejo, as it's been decades since someone has actually lived in the district and sat on city council. District 2 is in North Vallejo, and it covers neighborhoods on the north side of Highway 37, including the Country Club Crest, my current neighborhood, Cimarron Estate, College Park, Rancho, Mini Drive, and the Delta Meadows. The district is racially diverse, with nearly half the households speaking a language other than English, and close to half the residents living in North Vallejo earn under $75,000, and majority of the residents here are homeowners. So it's been, for my experience, I've been working for almost 20 years now, since I first started in grassroots organizing, community advocacy, and coalition building, working with young women impacted by the criminal justice system to maintaining program budgets. As a mother who has worked with historically excluded communities throughout the Bay Area, and I'm just gonna let you know, you may see my 2-year-old hop on my lap, but this is my lived experience. But currently organizing with some Vallejo community organizations, in addition to my own lived experience, that gives me a unique perspective to not only see the pitfalls within our current systems, yet be open and uplift community-focused solutions. So currently, I do work for the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development in San Francisco as a community development specialist. I currently sit on the Housing and Community Development Commission here in Vallejo. I was also the former redistricting advisory member for Solano County in District 1, a chartered member for the Sankofa Democratic Club, frontline staff for various community-based organizations in the Bay Area. And I hope you guys say hi to Kai, who's behind me. And I recently earned my bachelor's in politics, economics, policy, and law. Some of my core values are accountability, accessibility, and equity. Again, my neighborhood has not been represented on the city council in decades. So my priorities will be to demonstrate responsive and reflective leadership, committing to a community investment and commitment, reimagining public safety, and addressing housing and homelessness. As far as being a reflective and responsive leadership, we have to, inform how policies and departments impact the community. And I plan to work with the local leaders within my neighborhood and within my district to make sure that we host district-based community meetings and that they're aware of what's happening at large with the city. As far as community investment and commitment, we must be able to create partnerships and collaboration and collaborate with public and private organizations to invest money into community projects and neighborhood infrastructure. Reimagining public safety is, and many of our challenges come from the mistrust between community members and police. And this one is something that I'm personally invested in, just like the other ones, but being a mother to 2 Black boys in Vallejo is a scary thing. And we must reestablish our relationship and reimagine that relationship between the local law enforcement and the community. And lastly, housing and homelessness. With the eviction moratorium that had just ended, we have a lot of economically low income residents that are at risk of being evicted. And we must look at housing as a creative way at this time, especially with the funding that's coming down the line, but also recognizing that Vallejo is one of the last affordable cities in the immediate Bay Area, with an increasing number of residents that are becoming unhoused. So we have to create an immediate plan, but also create that long-term plan so that we can keep our residents housed, but also create the generational wealth to create more homeowners at the same time. I am running for city council to bring a voice to the table that has long been ignored, but to move beyond the protests and the complaining, and to create the policy and the collaboration and relationship, and to create a community that my sons, but all Vallejoans deserve. Thank you so much. And I'll put my website in the chat.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, now moving on to District 4. I don't think we have, is anyone here running for District 4? No. Okay, moving to District 5. I think Melissa, I think you're running for District 5.
I am.
Okay.
Hi, so my name's Melissa Bowman, and I am currently on the Planning Commission for the City of Vallejo. Prior to that, I was in the Architectural Heritage and Landmarks Commission. Proud of the work that we did at the on the AHLC, where we did a lot of our work on the preservation of the historical core at Mare Island, even as we bring that into the current millennium. But preservation is important. Reuse of our historical buildings is the most green thing you can do with a building is to reuse it. I live in a historical home myself. I brought my son in. I had my child a long time ago. He's 33. He is now a homeowner in Vallejo. Yes, right next to me. Rock on. Yeah. Okay. So I told him that we can now raise a family there. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the rest. One of the things I'm most proud of with the Planning Commission is the code revision, which we worked so hard on and put into place in July. I'm starting to see little bits of it where it's becoming easier for businesses to take root now, and we're starting to see the fringes of some affordable housing being put in. So I'm very hopeful that we will have affordable housing throughout the city, so that we can take care of our people, so that we can train them up, so that we continue to invest into Vallejo and its people and its education. I'm also the district librarian for Vallejo City Schools. So I work, live, and play here in Vallejo. I live close enough to work that sometimes I walk to work. So I also see what the street people see. So, you know, I might be driving, but I might be walking the next day. As I said, I'm a proponent of housing for our homeless population, and affordable housing for all. I'm also a member of the Washington Park Neighborhood Association. I mean, it's kind of a loose organization, but we have been cleaning up our alleys in the Washington Park neighborhood once a month. I've been cleaning up my neighborhood on my own, and somebody saw me and told me about this great group. So we're now organized. I have a Bachelor of Music degree, and I also have my Master of Library Science. I'm also president of St. Moritz Figure Skating Club, where we very much embrace diversity. And in U.S. figure skating this year, the talk is to come as your authentic self. So no matter what background you come as, you know, you come as who you are. And I very, very much embrace that. Part of what I do also as a librarian, jumping back to that, I do make sure that our schools purchase the nominees and winners of the Children's Literature Awards put out by the Stonewall Awards. So that is something that I also make sure that we feature when we have new books, that they are up front and center, so that we, you know, we just see it as a part of ourselves. I think that's all I've got for today. Thank you for your time.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Melissa. And just wanted to make sure everyone understands that this is not our endorsement meeting. This is just for you to give a pitch, like your elevator pitch, so that we can get to know you guys. It is being live streamed to our YouTube channel, so that all of our club members can come in and visit. We have 300 people on our mailing list, but we also have a total of 70 people that are members. And so now we'll keep in District 5. Where's Peter?
I am here.
Okay. All right. There we go, Mr. Bergenser. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much for having me tonight, for your time and giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm Peter Bergenser, and I'm running for District 5. I'm going to speak really quickly about some of my past experiences and then get into my campaign platform and its 4 components. First of all, I have a master's degree in hospital administration from Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri. I started my career after I graduated in 2000 with the VA, the Veterans Administration, because I had a strong bond with their alignment to their mission, their values, and their beliefs. I served over 20 years working for the VA in government service, working locally at local VA hospitals, running the business offices. I worked nationally in national programs, running the National Enrollment and Eligibility Division for all of VA. And then regionally, I was in charge of operations for 8 hospitals in Northern California, Nevada, Hawaii, and the Philippines, where I ran business operations. And then I was also the interim chief operating officer for the network. Currently, I am the COO, or chief operating officer, for Journey Veterinary Neurology. It's a boutique specialty hospital, veterinarian hospital in San Francisco. We've just purchased the commercial property, and I'm currently working on purchasing and developing service contracts for very high dollar medical equipment like MRIs, CT scans, pharmacy equipment, lab, the whole gamut. My husband Adam and I have been residents of Vallejo for nearly 10 years. Vallejo, we instantly fell in love with its beauty, its history, its diversity, and we really immediately felt a very strong sense of community when we moved to Vallejo. So in 2014, we decided to make this our forever home. I do have several years of civic involvement in Vallejo. I served a number of years on the Beautification Commission. I'm currently serving on the Architectural Heritage and Landmark Commission. My husband and I are also a host family for cadets at Cal Maritime through their Cadet Community Connection. It's a program where we try to integrate the cadets into community life here in Vallejo. Many of them are from very far places in the country, and so they need to have that community connection. We specifically try to host LGBTQ plus students if it's available, and so far we've not had a problem with that. I know that's kind of a long history, but I'll just kind of summarize it that I've been in Vallejo for 10 years and I have a federal career in government for over 20 years. As far as my platform, there's 4 major components. The first being a just and equal community. I want my family, my friends, my neighbors to all feel safe in our community. Hearing from district constituents, it's my understanding that there's a great feel of lawlessness in Vallejo. People are feeling very unsafe, running stop signs, stoplights. The speeds that are driven on the streets is pretty dangerous. And I also want to make sure that no one is fearful of any interaction that they have with the Vallejo Police Department. My father was a police officer himself, so I know firsthand the sacrifices that the officers make, as well as the sacrifices they make on behalf of their families. Many holidays, birthdays, school programs, Sunday worship, parades, you name it. We spent it without my father because he was serving our community. So I'm very empathetic to the difficult role that police officers play, but we also cannot forget what has happened in our community. That's why I truly believe in some police reform. Perhaps some of you can remember a few years ago when I worked for VA, there was a huge political, I'll just say it was a political nightmare that we faced with the Phoenix VA. We had several veterans that were dying on waiting lists. You probably remember hearing about that. But what really happened is it really forced us in VA, the leadership of VA, to really take a step back and do a deep dive as to how our operations worked, what were our core duties and what were our non-core duties. And then we were able to focus and streamline the processes for core duties to speed up that timeline so veterans were no longer dying on waiting lists. And the non-core duties, we contracted into the community and purchased that care so we could focus our energies on what we needed to do to better serve the veterans. And I feel that we really truly need to do that with the police force in Vallejo. I think we need to do a deep dive. We need to take a look at what their core duties are, what their non-core duties are, and contract some of the non-core duties out. For example, things like code enforcement, wellness checks, non-emergency 911 calls. All of those things are things that are weighing down on the police, and we just don't have enough to go around. So we really need to figure out how to take some of those chunks away from the police, give them the resources they need to do the stuff that we truly need them to do. The second component of my campaign is inclusionary housing. I know we've talked a lot about the unhoused population, but it's at a critical point in Vallejo. I probably don't need to say too much more than that, but I think we really need to look at getting some trash bins, some portable toilets, and some showers for common encampment areas and try to make it a more safe and humane place for them to call home. We need to look at low-income housing, of course, because we have residents of Vallejo that are working full-time, but they're living out of their cars, or they're one paycheck away from living in their cars. We also need to look at middle-class families and try to help them. Homeowners who struggle to maintain or make improvements on their homes because of the strenuous planning office requirements and fees that are required to get a building permit. We need to look at those processes and streamline it and try to eliminate some of those fees to make it easier for homeowners. And we also need to look at executive housing. If we have any hopes of attracting larger businesses to Vallejo, we need to have places for executives to live. The third component, wiser land use. I really think that we need to look at all of the unutilized and underutilized buildings and lots that the city of Vallejo owns. I think we need to have justification of why the city still maintains those properties and the justification for why we're spending the money, the taxpayers' money that we are on maintaining those properties that are not being used. And then either sell off those properties, use those funds to better fund our programs, or incentivize other businesses to come here by doing reduced price for those properties or better lease options for those buildings. Some of those examples are, of course, the 400 Maryland Way, the proposed police department building on the waterfront. And one of my near and dear buildings is the historic Herbert House. That's a beautiful historic home that was on Virginia Street in Vallejo, and it was moved to the waterfront, and it sat vacant for over 20 years now, where the city is doing very little maintenance to try to maintain it. it's getting to be in really rough shape. One of the big things that I'm pushing as part of the wiser land use is the waterfront for Vallejo, which is truly our front porch. This is where we welcome visitors from all over the Bay Area that come on the ferry to our waterfront, to our town. We need to make it more inviting. We need to work on getting some contracts for providing additional security in that area, for cleaning up the park areas, portable bathrooms. We need more green space and shade. We need to add more lighting, benches and picnic tables, and maybe a great welcome to Vallejo sign so everybody knows where they've landed once they get here. And the fourth component is stimulated business growth. So Vallejo is a hometown where everyone is welcome, and we need the revenue to make the changes that will attract new businesses to Vallejo. In order to attract new businesses, we need to look at tax incentives, streamlining the business permitting processes, and building more inclusionary housing. So one of the the indirect benefits of bringing in some much larger business to Vallejo means that a lot of them have spouses that are like veterinarians, teachers, nurses, EMTs, and all of those that traditionally may not look at Vallejo as a place to live and work, but because they're here with their spouses, maybe they'll join our workforces here. We really need to help out our small business partners. We need to assist them in obtaining some solar power for their businesses, perhaps, or reducing waste disposal costs. We need tax credits for those that are employing Vallejo residents as part of their employee group, and maybe doing an incentive program where we can help them renovate the facades of their businesses to try to attract other businesses to their areas. Really, the big picture is for Vallejo's, it's grassroots, and we've got to do it ourselves. We've got to grow our workforce ourselves. We really need to tie into the youth of our city. We have a lot of youth that as you know, they graduate from high school and they may go away to college, but a lot of them come back to Vallejo. They live in Vallejo. They raise their families here. It's really a hometown kind of community. So we need to have some after school programs and some summer camps to try to get kids more involved in other aspects of work opportunities besides just blue collar jobs. For one instance, I personally have started what's called Vallejo Tech Talks. I've been meeting with the faculty at the Vallejo High School, and we are going to bring in a host of very high level executives from the tech industry who are from corporations all over the peninsula. They're going to come in and rotate through the Vallejo High School on a monthly basis. They're going to hold talks about real life experiences, how the kids can get involved and start preparing themselves for careers in tech, and also form mentor relationships with those students so that they can carry on the rest of their school career and into the tech industry. So in closing, I just want to, and I know it took a lot of time, but I want to just point out that I'm not supported or backed by any special interest groups. I have absolutely nothing personally or financially to gain from running for city council, but I believe in a better future for everyone in this community. And I think we can get there through just and equal community, inclusionary housing, wiser land use, and stimulated business growth. Thank you very much, and I hope that I can have your support in the future. Thank you.
All right, I think that is all of the candidates we have tonight, right? Let's see.
Tara.
Tara spoke at the last meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we're trying to split some of these
you.
up, but I welcome everyone to put their contact info in the chat. We will be sending this out to all of the members. Okay, so with that, we will move on with our regularly scheduled program. So, all right. Hello, John. Okay, so moving on, we've had guest speakers. Approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Supervisor Brown moves the approval of the agenda.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Don Lowry, second.
Okay. All right, we have that. All right, all in favor, just say aye. And if you're a member, you can vote, so say aye.
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 All right.
Any nays or abstention?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Hearing none,
unanimous.
we move on. Approval of the minutes from the May meeting, not April. I did not.
Yeah, I
update that.
noticed that. I updated it on my minutes.
Thank you. So they were sent out. And everyone had a chance to, should have had a chance to look at them. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the May meeting? Or any discussion?
That was Anna? I'm sorry, so Anna moved and did anyone second?
I will go ahead and second that so we can move on.
Oh, I saw, there was discussion, okay.
Oh, there's discussion? Who?
Was there discussion? I'm asking. Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's
I've
vote.
got Anna moved, Tom seconded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
The
moving on.
abstentions,
No, thank you. Yes.
okay, unanimous, okay.
Okay, there we go. All right, approval of, no, I'm sorry, reports. So, John Fox, are you still with us? I know he was not feeling well. Okay,
I'm here.
all right, there we go. All right, you wanna go
For
ahead
my
and
report.
give an update of the school board.
Yes, we just had a meeting last night and getting ready for summer, ending the school year. We had wonderful graduations last week. We had a graduation each day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday was for John Finney High School, and Thursday was Vallejo High School. Friday was Jesse Bethel High School. So we had a great last week full of graduations. Unfortunately, a lot of the students through their high school experience talked about how COVID limited all the activities and interactions, but it also, they talked about how perseverance and being able to get through obstacles in their life and deal with change. So even though COVID gave them a lot of challenges, it also helped them to deal with life's challenges. I wish them all well, very proud of all of them. The next item after the graduations, we're still working with our, to continue our strategic plan. We dealt with our community, community component. Now we're trying to move on to get it to the mission and the values and the core beliefs to move forward. So that's our other item. And then last night we talked about our superintendent's evaluation and our superintendent's compensation. And unfortunately, I was the only one who did not agree to it. It was a 4-1. And I do agree he's doing a good job. And I do agree he deserves a raise. I just did not agree on how it was put forth over the next few years. So unfortunately, I was the only one that did not approve that. I did not like that he has a 3% ongoing increase each year, which is about $8,000 some increase each year automatically. I'm the type of person that believes that superintendents should be evaluated every year and their performance should either yes, you get an increase or no, you don't. Or if the school district or the economy is not doing well, I think then at that point that you put something on hold. So I disagreed with the other fellow board members. I was the only one. I do not think there should be a guaranteed 3% increase for the superintendent, which is again, $8,000 some over the next, for his contract over the next 3 years. So we'll see what happens. He also changed some other items in his contract that I disagreed with. He now wants a super majority to be able to, if he ever was to be let go, he would want a 4 to 5 vote to be able to let him go. I also did not agree to that. Most school districts have a 3-5 vote where at least 3 of the school board members agree. So anyways, we can't agree on everything, but I think that's, if there's any questions, I'll take those. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much from our report. We're off till the end of July. We will be working with the MIT Griffin, listening to things from our lawyers. I think you all know there was issues with mold and students being off that shouldn't have been off on distance learning for so long and other items. So we'll be listening, having a presentation on that, and then we'll be voting on if they're making enough improvement to continue with that. Are there any questions on everything I talked about or no? Okay, then that's my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, John, and thanks for the good fight. Joseph, do you have anything?
I don't, but you didn't give a report yet.
I was going
Tom.
to save mine for the membership.
Oh, okay, okay. So as Monica and I were talking about, there is a community meeting, and while it's here in Glen Cove, I did want to let everyone know about it because what we'll be discussing is the evacuation plan for here, but it's also relevant to the entire county because what we'll be discussing is alertsolano.com, and I encourage everyone to register with that. It's basically a text messaging system for emergencies, especially wildfires. And what the community meeting with the fire department and the police department is going to be specifically about is the technology of using cell phone towers to evacuate areas intelligently. So if there are certain blocks that are in more peril because of a wildfire, the fire department can have just those targeted blocks evacuate so there isn't a huge run on the evacuation plan, because if all of Glen Cove were to evacuate at once, it'd be a complete logjam and almost everyone would be in danger. John's nodding his head because he lives in one of those areas that is more perilously at the end of this area, and we have one main artery. But again, this is for all of Solano, for any kind of areas that may face these kinds of dangers. So if anyone is interested in joining that community meeting, it's going to be at Glen Cove Elementary School on the evening of June 22nd. That's it, Tom, for me.
Time?
7 p.m. We'll also have a food truck from 6 to 7 p.m. If anyone wants to engage in that.
Monica, just so you know, that's also the Central Committee meeting that night as well. So it's a conflict. I want to be at the Glen Cove, but we also have our monthly Central Democratic meeting. So
well, yeah, and apropos of that, while we're not advertising it widely because we want people to show up in person as much as possible, we will record it and release it and put it on our website afterwards, which is glencovevallejo.com. I'll put it in the chat.
All right, well, thanks so much. Leon?
Joseph, has anybody through the city or through the fire department talked about possibly using that service road that goes through the Glen Cove Park as an exit route? Because that leads up to Regatta. And so if there was an emergency where I know that when I was on the district's board, we talked about having that access because that's one way to get out if you can't get out the one way to get out of Glen Cove. So,
very interesting you asked that. No, to answer your question, no one has ever mentioned that road. But when I first moved here and I looked to see if there was some shortcut to Benicia or some other way out of here, yeah, I do not believe that would be encouraged, and I think it's pretty much the gate lock that up because it goes through some kind of power substation or something over there. So I don't know if it's a security thing or what the issue is, and I think that's also a state park.
No, it's all Vallejo's part. The exit is before you get to the Benicia State Park. And if your butt is on fire, I don't care if there's a gate or no gate, whose land it is. If that's the only way for you to get out, it should be something that could be discussed as an emergency. So so that people are aware of it.
That's a good point. I'm going to mention it. My plan B is to take my dogs and my husband and stand in the Carquinez Straits until someone picks us up.
All right, with that lovely thought in our head.
Thank you, Leon, for that suggestion.
And I think you're talking about, is it called Point Dillon or Dillon Point Road? Or is that the Park Road?
There is no name for it. It's a service road that the PG&E uses, the Sand and Flood uses it. I think the city uses it on occasion, GVRD uses it. So
Yeah.
it's wide enough to accommodate cars to get out of there. I think you would have to go up the hill and knock the fence down, but you know, if you're on fire, you're gonna do whatever you have
And
to.
if you're in a car, knocking that fence down will be pretty easy. All right. And it looks like, I'm just looking at it on the map, there is a part of the road that goes on the outside of the substation, so you would not have to go through the substation.
Yes, yes, but it is adjacent, yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, thank you so much for that, Joseph. So I'll go ahead and speak about membership renewals. We are at 60 members that have renewed. So thank you all for that. And just so, and that's also including some new members too. So just so that we're clear, in order to vote in endorsements, you have to be a member in good standing. That is in our emails that go out. So we're still trying to do that. The other thing I wanted to call attention to is worked with the Northern Dems at the Pride in the Park this past week to promote all of the clubs in Solano County. And then I do know that their chair, Jeannie White, who she and I have a good relationship, even though we only met for the first time this weekend. Everything else has been through a little box in a window on the computer that we've seen each other. But she was calling special attention to the Stonewall Club, the information about the Stonewall Club at their table at the meeting. I also want to mention that this weekend, so tomorrow night, we have a Solano Pride is having a, or not tomorrow night, but tomorrow from 1 until 5, there is a Pride tasting event at Backrose Winery. And then after 5 until 9 or so, there is they'll have bottle service, and $1 from every bottle sold will go to the center. The same thing all month. Any bottle sold by Backrose Winery, $1 will go to the Pride Center. And then don't forget that Sunday we have our Solano County Pride Picnic that's going to be happening on Mara Island. It is now a BYOP. It is not a potluck. And the reason is because COVID numbers are rising, so we want to make sure that you're safe. So what I suggest is it might be BYOP, but you can also get a couple of people together that you know and trust and bring your own picnic and enjoy. We are going to have performers and we're going to have some activities for kids. So please come out and enjoy. Last time there was like chalk painting and stuff like that. Not sure that we're going to have the Pride hat contest this time though. Just because there was only like 4 of us that did it, and I talked to other people and they're like, no, I don't want to do it again. So I don't want to just do it by myself, but that would mean I would win. So that'd be great, even though I think I was robbed last time. But so just remember that. Then next month or next week, the Pride Center is also opening up game night on the 24th. That will be in Fairfield. Last night we had pizza night at Pizza Pirate. There was about 20 some odd people show up. It was great. Pizza was okay. Yeah, so there's that. All right, moving on to the general election questionnaire, new business. We Anna and Joseph looked at the questionnaire. I think Joseph, you had that one edit where we're going to add, what was that? You sent
health equity.
Health equity to question 17? Or what?
Yes, it was 17.
Yeah, so that would be the only changes that we'd make. I asked Anna and Joseph to look at that, sort of voluntold more than volunteered, but they were good enough to take a look at it and everything. And specifically with an eye about the transgender exclusionary practices that are happening across the nation with different things. And Anna, you want to speak on that?
Oh, well, I thought, I mean, it's a long questionnaire, and I feel that like, so with some of the trans issues, I felt that that some of the questions could be combined. Yeah, the only thing I thought we might want to put in is asking candidates whether they were prepared, what they've done to educate themselves about LGBT issues, and whether they would agree to have a training from Solano Pride if that was necessary. I don't like
Okay.
to force,
Yeah, what we can do, instead of making that a formal question, we can put that as a suggested statement in their candidate statements.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. So with that, according to our bylaws, we have to vote to use this questionnaire. Do we have a motion to approve the use of the existing candidate questionnaire with the small adjustment that Joseph made?
Motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a
Moved.
second? Oh, did someone say something?
I was just confirming that Anna made the motion.
Yep.
I'll second that. Tara.
Thank you,
Okay,
Tara.
thank you, Tara. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any abstentions? Any nays?
Okay.
Thank you.
And just so we're clear, that is a Google form that you can save and come back to and go back and edit and whatnot. And we'll just have a cutoff date of edits where we send it out, because we create a little binder for everyone to use. So that will be happening, but it will be released out to all of you candidates that are here tonight, and others that are coming next meeting as well. So that'll be going out, and we'll send regular email updates to just remind you, because I know you guys are going to get bombarded with questionnaires for endorsement. So I wanted us to get out there first.
Yes.
So it's already out there. All right. So future items for future agendas. Does anyone have anything? No? Okay. So just so you guys are aware, we will be having more candidates speak at the next meeting, going around more of the county, because I did reach out to Nadia Johnson of Fairfield, but she was unable to make it tonight, but she will come. She said she is definitely coming for our next meeting. So we'll have a young Democratic candidate from Fairfield. Well, I guess you say, well, no, actually, Jack, you're in Sassoon, aren't you? He's already gone. That boy doesn't let any moss grow on his dog. So yeah, so we'll have more candidates, and then Don Jordan from District 2 will be coming next one, and there'll be more as well. So again, this is just for a brief introduction, to say hello, give us a little bit about you, and we do record this so that everyone can watch it. But so that's what's on our agenda for then. And then our next meeting, we will formally set endorsement date, and then also the candidate interviews, which will be separate. Announcements. So I'll go through the ones that are here, and then you guys can add any more. So 1, VG and Solano Pride and Better Vallejo Pride Picnic for Solano County, June 19th, 1 p.m. Alden Park. Who has their hand up? No. So just remember that. The Pride tasting on Friday. Also, Fairfield and Sassoon will be making their Pride proclamations for the month of June on the 21st, and that is at 6 and 6:30. Also, on the 21st, the Solano Democratic Party will be handing out awards at a small award ceremony on the on the Solano County government space. We'll be doing it just outside. It is got, normally there's like a banquet and all that kind of stuff, but we wanted to make sure people got their awards before we transition to a new executive board or officer contingent, because this is for the 2021 and 2022 cycle. So that will be happening on the 21st as well. So the other big thing is hello goodbye party for Congressman John Garamendi and Mike Thompson. So that's hello to Garamendi, goodbye to Mike Thompson, and that's June 26th, 2 to 4 p.m. Benicia. The flyer is attached to the agenda. So I think you have until Monday to get a discounted price. Let me see, what does that say? I just realized I am not sharing my screen.
The last day is the 19th.
Okay. Yeah. So before June 20th. Yeah. After, well, that's weird. So you can't buy tickets on June 20th because it's before June 20th and after June 20th, but not June 20th. The programmer in me is like, that's excluded June 20th. You're on mute, Monica.
Sorry, just do it when you can because we have to order the food.
Yeah, so this will be a good time to come out and say, Nolan and Jeanette, it'll be a good time for you guys to come and say hello to Mike Thompson, and a good time for us to say goodbye to Mike Thompson and hello to John Garamendi. Congressman Garamendi.
Got my ticket.
Oh, okay, good deal. I got a ticket as well, but I will be giving mine away because it is another important weekend here in the Bilbo Randall's household. It is Mr. Randall's birthday weekend, so we will be doing things away from the house.
Nice.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Chris.
Happy birthday.
Chris, people are speaking to you. Do you feel odd?
He
No.
should always feel loved because we always sometimes feel sorry for him.
Hey.
What?
Well, true.
Whatever. Anyway, but so go ahead and get your tickets. What was that, Chris?
I am listening to all this, you know.
See, he's not just a pretty box.
Thanks, everyone.
But yeah, so we will be doing fun stuff on that weekend. I'm actually off midweek next week through the following week. So we'll be doing some fun stuff. But yeah, so do get your tickets for that. It would be a good time to really get involved. And yes, there's Juneteenth Festival. There's also a Juneteenth thing here in Vallejo, event down at Martin Luther Memorial Plaza Park.
Yeah, behind the library.
Yeah.
That's on Saturday, the 18th.
Yes. So if you are around, it'd be a great time to check that out and pay homage to that historic moment whenever the last people who were bound in slavery were notified so many years ago. And it is our first federal holiday weekend to celebrate that happening. Yes. That's called progress. We just need a little bit, we need a lot more progress. But yeah, so let's make sure we can check that out. And then of course, the 19th is our Pride picnic, and come on out for that. There will be entertainment and other such stuff. Yes, and SF Pride is the 25th and the 26th, which is their usual. And Chris and I will not be anywhere near there. We will be the suburban gays that get away.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, folks, if there is nothing else, remember.
Well, there's no mention of the Solano County Fair, which starts today and goes till Sunday, but I'm sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Any more announcements? I get those emails. I've totally blew past that.
Yeah. Let's see. Was there
Carrie
something
has
else?
put in chat. You want to talk about what you put, Carrie?
Sure. Benicia Black Lives Matter and a bunch of folks are coming out and organizing for Juneteenth. We're going to have a festival at our Veterans Hall from 11 to 5. There's going to be all kinds of booths and locally owned small businesses and food and games and t-shirts and all kinds of great things. So please turn out and show your support for our Juneteenth festivities, and especially for Benicia Black Lives Matter. Thanks.
Okay, and I see that Monica has announced that Warriors are ahead with 1 minute to go. So with that, I will let you guys go. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, don't forget Father's Day on Sunday for those of us.
Yeah, remember your daddies.
Well, and don't forget the 4th of July parade, which I'm sure you'll send something out, but that's like in
Yes,
2 weeks.
that's true. Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Real quick before we go out. We are
Well, I have an
gonna need-
announcement too.
Okay.
Thank you, Monica. Well, I was going to
Mhm.
say that the Humane Society is going to participate in the Mad Hatter Festival, and we're also going to participate in the Maritime Dog Parade on the waterfront. I've been in touch with them on the board of Humane Society North Bay, and we're going to have the Maritime Dog Parade end at the booth for the Humane Society. Also, Humane Society, this is the week of the month that we are going to be at the Farmers Market in Vallejo. So please stop by. I'll be there myself with some other colleagues. We're trying to make sure people know about our open houses, one of which is happening on June 25th. I know that's Pride weekend, but we're opening up after COVID. This will be our second open house since COVID.
All right, good deal. And then, yes, there's Cassandra put in the chat about the letter condemning the hate crime that happened at San Lorenzo. I actually signed that on behalf of Stonewall and Solano Pride the day that it went out. So if you guys want to do it, that's also for anyone who is public officials and community leaders. I think we're all community leaders here, so go ahead and sign that because that was horrific. We actually have also, for the 19th, we have secured a security firm that's going to be helping us to maintain security at the park, just in case, because it has been in the paper. So we want to make sure everyone is safe. The other thing I was going to say is for July 4th, we're putting on a Pride entry into the 4th of July parade. Is the 165th or 67th, I can't, something like that. Parade, we will have a float as well as a Pride rocket. So Monica Brown is sponsoring that, so thank you very much. And we also have a couple of other sponsors that are helping out too. So please join us on the 2nd and 3rd to help decorate and build out the float here at 1044 Capitol Street on the side, because we are like 2 blocks from where everything starts. And so we build it here and carry it over there. But the Pride rocket is going to be the sleigh that I normally have. Okay, so the Warriors, that's a one of these, not a one of these, right? The basketball team Warriors won. So is that the end of it? Oh, all right.
That is the end of it. Tom, just real fast on the 4th of July, what time? Normally we meet by your house, normal kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we'll still be meeting by the house if you want to park over here. But the time I'm not too sure on because they give general stuff. I will send out an email on that, but for the decorations, it will be the afternoon of the 2nd and the day of the 3rd. And usually we get over there in the morning. So for that, so depending on where we're at, they did say that we were one of the first to sign up. So yay. So hopefully we'll be up front, but we'll have a Pride rocket, which is the Santa sleigh that I own. That's in the Mad Hatter. It's a rocket sled, and we're going to make it into a Pride rocket, like a firecracker or firework. But it won't set anything on fire because it'll just snow.
Benicia, and I'm sure maybe Carrie might want to tag
Candlelight,
in.
right?
Benicia does it on July 3rd at night. Well, it's the torchlight. But this year they're doing something special. Carrie, do you want to talk about that?
We're having a drone festival along with our torchlight parade, and it's the first annual. And I've only read, I only know what I've read, but it promises to be unique and impressive. So The parade usually starts around 4:30 and ends before it gets real dark. But it's the kickoff of our summer, and we get in front of Vallejo's big Mad Hatter or 4th of July parade, and I just love that all of us can go to both of them.
Yeah, and now I got a drone or 3. So that'll be fun. Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to you and get some more information about that. That sounds like a great time. And I have my, well, I will by then have my FAA 107 license. I'm a pilot, I will be. But anyway, so on that, do we have any more announcements?
Just the next membership meeting, Tom.
Yes, July 21st, 2022, 7 p.m.
Save the date.
Same bat channel, same bat time. And we will see you then. Do we
The
have a
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Oh, okay, I guess I'll make the, okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good
Hi,
night.
everybody.
Good night.
That's Kevin
Night.
waving back.
Oh, hey, Kevin.
Hey.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey,
Good to see you,
Kevin.
John.
Hi, Eva.
Good night, everyone.
Yep.
Night.
Night, everybody.